Good morning all dear students. Last class we have discussed some of the topics in alcohols, phenols and ethers. In that we discussed what is meant by alcohols, phenols, ether, the definitions of that, general formula of alcohols, phenols, ethers, then how one can classify alcohols into different category, then example for all the categories. Then we discussed what is the structure of alcohol, phenols and ether, how it varies, what is the bond angle variation when it comes to alcohols, phenols as well as ethers. So in today's class we have to discuss how to name an alcohol, that is IUPAC nomenclature of an alcohol. So in detail we will discuss alcohol. As I told in the last class, first we have to finish all the concept which includes in the topic alcohol. Once it is over, then I will move on to the phenols. After that we will move on to the ethers. So here alcohols, in that we have to study about its IUPAC nomenclature. When it comes to an IUPAC nomenclature, we have studied in the first year, if it is a functional group alcohol, that is R, general formula, we write it as ROH. When it comes to an alcohol, the suffix we used always OL. Alcohol, OL is the suffix we use. So whatever the example of alcohol is given, the name should be end with an word OL, remember it. So here I will take few example. In that first example I will take a simple alcohol, that is CH3OH. So how to name it? We studied these things in the first year. So here one OH group is there. And first we have to check how many carbon atoms are there, so that we can find out its root word, isn't it? So here how many carbon atom? Only one carbon atom is there. So when one carbon atom is there, then root word we usually write meth. Okay, it become meth. Then how many bonds are present between the atoms? Single bond. So carbon and oxygen single bond, and all the carbon and hydrogens are connected by a single bond. Then we use a word ane, methane. So whether it is a methane, no. So there is a functional group is there. What is that functional group? That is alcohol, isn't it? OH. OH is there, so it is alcohol, all. So the name becomes methane plus OL. So it's methane in the sense here E, but it's an vowel letter. So this is also an vowel letter. So you should cancel the previous vowel letter. Therefore the name becomes methanol. So name becomes methanol. It's very simple. So methanol. So if I take another example, CH3, CH2OH. Again, one functional group, OH, that is an alcohol. How many carbon atoms? 2 carbon atoms. So root word becomes eth. Single bond between the atoms, so it becomes ane, ethane. And the functional group is alcohol, therefore it becomes OL. Therefore the name becomes ethanol. So we have to write ethanol. While writing, if it becomes ethanol, then it is wrong. It becomes a functional group of aldehyde. Remember it? So you should write clearly. It should be ethanol, OL. If it becomes A, then it's wrong. It becomes an aldehyde functional group. So it is ethanol. Then if I take another example, where CH3, CHOH, CH3. So this is also an example for an alcohol. Why? Functional group is there, it is an OH. Whenever OH comes, it's an alcohol. OH is there. So here, this alcohol, that's a functional group OH, not present in the side of the chain. It is present in the middle of the chain. Then what you have to do? So then you have to give the number. How to give the number? So we have a rule. While giving the number, the functional group attached to carbon should get the least number. So if I number from right to left or left to right, what happens? 1, 2, 3. This is one way. So if I give the number from this side, 1, 2, 3, something like this. So this is present in the same position. If I start from right to left or left to right, then functional group attached to carbon will get the same position, that is a second position. Here also it will get a second position itself. Then how to name it? No problem, you can give the number from any side, this side or this side, left to you. So here, then how to name it? Again you have to check the root word, how many carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, the root word used is prop. Single bond between the atom, it becomes N, and the functional group is there, that is OL. How to write it? It becomes propanol. As it is, if you write propanol, it becomes wrong. Why? If it is a propanol, as it is, if you write something like this, usually we make this mistake, that's why I am writing here. Propanol, if I write like this, it is a wrong. When we write this OL as it is, if it is in a side position, that is, if it is in the first position. The alcohol group is not in the first position, isn't it? That is present in the second position. Then the name become propane hyphen 2-or, or you can also write it as 2-propanol. That is left to you. So this is how to name an alcohol, simple alcohol. If I take another example, CH3, CH3, CH2OH, CH3. How to name this molecule? So here alcohol is again in the terminal position. So first we have to check, select the parent chain where it should include the functional group also. So here this is OH attached to carbon. So while selecting a parent chain, it should contain a maximum number of carbon atoms. So here if I select this one as a parent chain, then it contains how many carbon atom? 1, 2, 3. If I select this one, then also it contains, if I select this carbon atom including a functional, then also it becomes, it have a 3 carbon atom. So if I select this straight chain as a parent chain, contain 3 carbon atom, 1, 2, 3. Okay, root word becomes propane. But there is a substituents groups are there here, isn't it? Where substituents are there, so if I give the number, functional group should get the least number. Remember it, don't get confused in that. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So here, first position, second position, third position. You can't give the number from this side. We studied all this in the first year itself. Still, we'll make the mistake. So if I give the number from this side, this is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because functional group always should get the least number. Therefore, here what happens? If I give the number from this side, 1, 2, 3. So alcohol in the first position itself. Substituents groups are there, that is methyl groups is acts as a substituent group. So here one methyl CH3. This is also a methyl. 2 methyl groups are there, isn't it? So at that time what happens? In the second position there are 2 methyl groups are there. So how to write it? So then the name become 2, 2 dimethyl. Why 2, 2 I am writing? In the second position 2 methyl groups are there, 2 dimethyl, 2, 2 dimethyl, 1, 2, 3, the root word becomes prop. Single bond is present between the atoms, so it becomes N. and the functional group is present, that is in a side position, first position, no need to mention the position of that, it becomes propanol. 2, 2 dimethyl propanol. Hope it is clear. So this is how to name an alcohol. Wherever there is an alcohol group is there, alcohol attached carbon should get the least number, remember it. Okay, alcohol attached carbon should get the least number. Then select a parent chain, write its appropriate root word. Then if it is a substituent groups are attached, write that also by using a proper prefixes, then give the name of that particular compound. So this is how to name an organic compound which contains alcohol as a functional group. Hope this is clear. So try the other examples also. CH3, CH2, CH2, OH. You can also try this simple compound, how to write its name. So here 2 OH groups are there. When 2 OH groups are present, you have to write it as a diol. Where you have to write it as a diol? At the end, OL in the sense only one alcohol. So here how many alcohol groups are there? 2 alcohol groups are there. So at the end you have to write it as a diol. Or you can also take an example of CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3, CH3, CH2, COH, CH3. So try to write the IUPAC nomenclature for these 3 compounds. So remember it. First you have to check the functional group where it is present. Give the number in such a way that functional group should get the least number. After that, check whether it has sub branches. If it has a branches, give the number to that and then give the name of that particular compound. So this is how to name an organic compound which is having a functional group alcohol. Hope it is clear. Okay. Next we'll move on to the next concept. That is physical properties of alcohols. So in physical properties, we have to study the boiling point and the second one, the solubility. So here, the boiling point of lower alcohol is always less. As the number of alcohol groups are more, then what happens? Boiling point is increases. So that is mainly because of the van der Waals force of attraction. So if the number of alkyl groups are less, the boiling point is also less. As the number of alkyl groups are more, if I take an example of ROH, then RCH2OH, let us imagine that R here is CH3, and if it is RCROH, H, and if I consider a tertiary, so here if you consider primary alcohol, secondary alcohol as well as a tertiary alcohol, primary alcohol is always having a more boiling point compared to secondary, compared to tertiary. That is because of the van der Waals force of attraction, one reason. Another reason is if a branching is more, so branching is more in alcohol, so straight chain and branched chains are present, then what happens? Boiling point will decreases. As branching increases, what happens? Van der Waals force of attraction goes on decreases. It's a weak van der Waals force of attraction, in the sense it's a weak force of attraction. What happens? As the branching increases, so branch, if it is increases, again take this one itself, primary, secondary, tertiary. So here branching is more, this alcohol OH group attached to 2 other alkyl group. Here OH group is attached to 3 other alkyl group. Here OH group is attached to only 1 alkyl group. So branching is more. As branching is more, what happens? Van der Waals force of attraction decreases. Therefore, boiling point will be decreases. So as we consider the order, primary is always more, secondary and tertiary. So that is regarding the boiling point of alcohol. Then as we move on to the solubility, solubility is also depending upon the tendency of an hydroxyl group to bond with an water molecule. So solubility of lower alcohol is always less soluble. So as solubility increases, when solubility will increases, the tendency of OH group, when the OH group reacts with an water molecule, solubility will increases. So this is regarding the 2 physical properties, boiling point as well as solubility, how it varies in alcohol. So that is regarding physical property. Then we'll move on to the how one can synthesize this alcohol, synthesis of alcohol. Synthesis of alcohol. Once we study the synthesis of alcohol, then we'll move on to the chemical properties. We study the physical properties, that is boiling point, solubility, how it varies. Then we'll move on to the synthesis of alcohol, how one can synthesize an alcohol by different techniques. So in that, first one is by an acid hydrolysis. So here, if we have an alkene, let us take an symmetrical alkene. Hope you know what is symmetrical alkene. We studied all this in the first year. Symmetrical alkene, CH2, CH2. In the sense, same number of carbon atoms should present adjacent to the double bond. So here, if it has a 1 carbon atom, here it should contain a 1 carbon atom. Unsymmetrical in the sense, here if it is a 2 carbon atom, it should contain a 1 carbon atom. Then we call it as unsymmetrical. So it's a symmetrical alkene when it is reacts with hydrogen in the presence of water. So here acid should be there, water, acid hydrolysis is water and a small amount of an acid. So what happens here? We are going to get CH3, CH2, OH. So formation of an alcohol takes place. It's an reversible reaction. Alcohol is formed. So this is an acid hydrolysis. So if it is an unsymmetrical alkene is present, somewhat like this, CH3, CH, double bond, CH2. It is what we call it as unsymmetrical alkene. Why it is unsymmetrical alkene? See, here there is a double bond. On this side only one carbon atom, here it contains 2 carbon atoms, so it becomes an unsymmetrical. So when this unsymmetrical alkene undergo hydrolysis in the presence of an acid, so what happens here? So water molecule is there, it has 2 parts, one is a positive part and negative part. Negative part of water, that is hydroxyl group, comes and attached to the carbon which is having a less number of hydrogen. So that is what? Markovnikov rule. So here we are going to get a product CH3, CH, OH, CH3. How I can write this? So here CH3, CH, double bond, CH2. H2 and reacts with H plus, so it becomes H3O plus. I will write this OH minus. Hydroxyl group from water, H2O. Here if I write H2O, H plus and OH minus. Hydroxyl group, that is a negative part of the reagent, comes and attached to the unsymmetrical hydrocarbon which is having a less number of carbon atoms. So here if it is an OH, that is an reagent, it has a negative part that should comes and attach to the unsymmetrical hydrocarbon where carbon should have a less number of hydrogen. So this is carbon-carbon double bond. Either it should attach to this one or it should attach to this carbon. So according to Markovnikov rule, what it says, negative part of the reagent comes and attached to the carbon which is having a less number of hydrogen. Therefore we are going to get this product. So negative part of OH, that is water molecule, comes and attached to the carbon which is having a less number of hydrogen. Therefore the product obtained is CH3, CH, OH, CH3. What is the name of this compound? It becomes 2-propanol. How it 2-propanol? Here 1, 2, 3. So here in the second position there is an alcohol group is there. OH is present in the second position. 1, 2, 3. So alcohol is present in the second position. OH group is present in the second position. Therefore root word is propane, single bond, therefore N, and OL, alcohol, OL, functional group OL, alcohol. In which position? Second position. Therefore propane 2-ol, or I can also write it as 2-propanol. So this is how one can synthesize an alcohol by an alkene. So if you have an alkene, you can synthesize an alcohol. This is the first method, so synthesize an alcohol by an alkene. So again, you can synthesize alcohol by an alkene by another method, that is what we call it as hydroboration, simultaneous oxidation. Hydroboration and oxidation. So here, if we have an unsymmetrical alkene, in this case, it will react with a diborane. Diborane structure is B2H6, diborane, followed by an oxidation with hydrogen peroxide in the presence of an alcohol. Oxidation takes place. We are going to get an alcohol. So that is another method, second method of preparation under the preparation by an alkene. So if we have an alkene, let us take an alkene, unsymmetrical alkene. What is this? This is propene, right? Whether it's symmetrical or unsymmetrical, it is symmetrical, right? So here what happens? In this case, CH3, CH double bond CH2, it's an unsymmetrical alkane. Here, if I treat with diborane, we write it as B2H6, isn't it? It's a diborane. B2H6, we are write it as a diborane. So when this diborane reacts with alkene, what happens? I can write this one as HBH2 twice. So it is equivalent to B2H6, isn't it? So I wrote like this to explain the phenomenon in a simpler way. So what happens here when an alkene reacts with a diborane? So borane is there. Here, again this is an unsymmetrical alkene. It has a positive and a negative part. Usually we think that here it may undergo the addition or successive replacement by an Markovnikov rule. But in this case, what happens? It is the reaction takes place according to anti-Markovnikov's rule. What is that anti-Markovnikov's rule? Reverse of the Markovnikov's rule. What is Markovnikov's rule says? The negative part of the reagent comes and attached to the carbon which is having a less number of hydrogen. But here what happens? Negative part of the reagent comes and attached to the carbon which is having a higher number of a carbon atom. That is because of the character of a boron. Boron will attach to the sp2 hybridized carbon which should have a more number of hydrogen. So here this is sp2 hybridized, isn't it? This is also sp2 hybridized carbon because double bond is there, therefore it is sp2 hybridized. So here boron, because it has a lone pair of electron, it has the tendency to attach to the sp2 hybridized carbon itself. But what happens here? The boron will attach to the sp2 hybridized carbon which is having a more number of hydrogen. Hope it is clear. That is what we call it as a anti-Markovnikov's rule. So here this will comes and attach to this position, whereas the hydrogen comes and attach to this position. So therefore we are going to get a product CH3 single bond CH H addition. Next here single bond, double bond is reduced, so it becomes CH2BH. Okay, again it is CHBH2. Next what happens? Again successive replacement takes place. Another molecule of CH3 CH double bond CH2, successive replacements takes place. Again boron having a lone pair of electron that comes and attached to the carbon which is having a more number of hydrogen, and here we get an hydrogen. So the product becomes CH3 CH2 CH BH. One hydrogen comes and attached here, CH3 CH2 CH3. Again replacement takes place. Again we have one more hydrogen here, isn't it? One more hydrogen is there that will react with again another molecule of alkene. So alkene CH3 CH double bond CH2. Hope it is clear. Alkene. Again what happens? Boron, it has a lone pair of electron. Addition takes place according to anti-Markovnikov's rule. Boron molecule comes and attached to the carbon which is having a more number of hydrogen atom. Then the product becomes CH3 CH2 CH boron. Here again CH3 CH2 CH3. I wrote this here, and again here what happens? boron molecule comes and attached to the carbon which is having a more number of hydrogen. Here this hydrogen comes and attached here. Then we get here one more product, that is CH2, CH3. So here it should be CH2. If I read CH, what happens? Valence is not satisfied, right? 1, 2, 3. So it becomes CH2. Here also it should be CH2. So therefore, this is the product formed. Hope it is clear. Next, what happens? Our aim to get an alcohol, isn't it? It's a method of synthesis of alcohol. It's not an alcohol. How to get an alcohol? So first step is over, that is hydroboration is over. Addition of boron to the alkene is over. So we get a product. I can write this one as CH3, CH2, CH2B. 3 times. Hope this is clear. So next what you have to do to this product, it should undergo oxidation when it is reacts with hydrogen peroxide in the presence of a base, that is an alcohol. In the presence of a base, I choose sodium hydroxide as a base here. So what happens here? We have a product CH3, CH2, CH, boron, which will react with hydrogen peroxide in the presence of a base, that is NaOH, or you can take any base here. So what happens at that time? Undergo oxidation. Oxidation takes place. So we are going to get CH3, CH2, CH2OH. Where oxidation takes place? Here hydrogen peroxide is there. Along with that, base is also there. So here what happens? 3 times boron here. So boron will combine with hydroxyl group and we are going to get H3BO3. So this is what we got product, that is what we call it as propanol. Hope it is clear. So this is little bit lengthy reaction. First you should understand the concept. First it will undergo hydroboration. After that it will undergo oxidation. So first hydroboration, in the sense diboron is there, that will undergo reaction with an alkene by using an anti-Markovnikov's rule. Anti-Markovnikov's rule is that where negative part of the reagent comes and attached to the carbon which is having a more number of hydrogen. So this comes and attached to this particular position. Whereas once one boron molecule is attached, next what happens? Successive replacement takes place until all the hydrogen which is attached to boron is replaced by an alkene group. Another group of alkene. Again same anti-Markovnikov rule addition takes place. So here what happens? Boron molecule comes here, alkene comes and attached to the boron. Here we get this product. Again the reaction will continue here also. We get this product CH3, CH2, CH2 thrice boron. So this is hydroboration product. So once hydroboration is over, we should get an alcohol. So here what happens? Treating with an hydrogen peroxide. In the presence of a base, we use NaOH, or you can also use potassium hydroxide. Any base is okay. So when you treat with the base, what happens here? Immediately oxidation takes place. What is oxidation? Addition of oxygen takes place. So here addition of oxygen takes place. Here CH2 and boron is there. So here addition takes place. So we are going to get propanol, CH3, CH2, CH2OH and H3BO3. So here how many propanol molecules should be present? Here 3 is there, right? Therefore I should write it as 3 CH3, CH2, CH2OH. So this is how to get a propanol or how to get an alcohol by an alkane. First one is by acid hydrolysis. If you have an alkene is there, by treating with acid and followed by hydrolysis we can get an alcohol. Another method is where by hydroboration and oxidation. So first hydroboration, later oxidation. It undergo anti-Markovnikov rule, whereas the earlier one, if it is unsymmetrical alkene is present, it will undergo Markovnikov's rule. It's very simple. Just remember which rule is hold good here. Here anti-Markovnikov rule, there Markovnikov's rule. So that is regarding how you can synthesize alcohol by an alkene. So in the next class, we have to study few more method of preparation, that is by Grignard reagent. After that by an carbonyl compound. If you have an aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, that is what we call it as a carbonyl compound. C double bond O is there. When C double bond O compounds are there, how you can synthesize alcohol from that? After that from Grignard reagent. So that is the method of preparations are there. Once the method of preparations are over, then we will discuss about the chemical properties of alcohol. Hope it is clear. Thank you.